Because I don't really think that people could. I feel like your idea would work in the short term, but in the long term, people would want to get divorced or they'd be in marriages that they regretted.
Hmm.
Because you don't want people getting divorced, right? You want people choosing partners for life.
Right. I mean, there would still be annulments, which we talked a little bit about before. But no, we would generally want, yeah, full
But even
life.
annulment, isn't that practically a divorce? Isn't if you're taking advantage of the annulment system, isn't that just as bad as being promiscuous?
Yes. Well. So in an annulment process, the way it works is that there's like a tribunal. Did I describe this
Yeah,
before?
but you should probably describe it for the audience.
Okay, yeah, okay. So there's a tribunal, and then there's like a canon lawyer, which is like a lawyer that understands church law. And I don't know if the judge is like a bishop or a priest. I'm not sure, but it's someone that would understand the church teachings. So the couple has to go in, or maybe one. I don't know if both couples, or maybe one if the other one doesn't want to. I don't know, but anyway. So you have to present your case why the marriage was never truly a marriage, like something was an impediment that nullified it.
Like getting married at 16.
Well, no. Well, the church actually allows, I think that is the lowest age the church allows.
I'm just saying, a lot of people would look back on that and think I was way too young to be getting married. That's my
Oh,
reason.
well, I think in the modern context we think of marriage as, okay, you got to have a job first, you got to have a house, or you got to be ready to buy a house. To me, it seems like, no, we're putting the cart before the horse. And to me, it's like, well, in medieval times and early modern, shortly after puberty, it was, people were ready to just do that, and then to me, that takes care of all the other problems that flow from not getting married, because you're ready to have your children, so there's no birth control and abortion stuff, and you're fulfilling your desires in a context that the church promotes, which is a heterosexual marriage, monogamous and not polygamy. Of course, that's another, not having multiple. So it solves that whole problem. Boom, and then and then we're good. And then also it fulfills the two requirements which the church sees, which is bringing the couple together and procreating, or at least being open to life. So it like fulfills everything.
Uh, we're going to get into some of this other stuff later, but one other thing I wanted to ask you about is that one of the things that concerns me about the way you seem to view marriage is that it seems like for you, sex is a very important end game of marriage.
Right.
Okay, how long do you think you can wait a woman before you're either like, we're getting married, or this isn't going to work out because I want to have sex?
Oh, you mean like how long should you date before?
Yes, because when I told you that like dating for 2 years, you were like, 2 years?
Well, maybe it depends on the people, but let's see. Are you saying what the average is, or what I think should be the time limit?
No, just for yourself personally.
Oh, for me
This
personally?
is you as the individual.
Um,
You've met a woman, things are working out.
okay.
How long do you feel like things go before you pop the question?
Okay.
Like, what would be your ideal for yourself?
I would say that, well, it's hard to say for sure, but I would say my conception is that if we're hitting it off and there doesn't seem to be any major questions or impediments, then I would say, well, let's see, I guess a couple months. And then I would say, well, it's kind of a hard question. I would say, do you want to get married? So then I guess we would go to the classes. I don't know if they still have the classes anymore that are required or not, but it does say that you have to talk to a priest by appointment, and then I guess they go forward with the process. So I guess I would say a few months to decide whether we would want to do it, and then start going through the because that's the thing, is you have to consider, at least in the church, there are steps that you have to go through before you're officially married, and you have to get a marriage date on the calendar and stuff. And so that's why I'm like backing it up and just saying a few months before we say, okay, now we're going to start that process, is what I'm thinking. But I guess there is a consideration like, okay, what if I do have questions or feel it may not work out, and then it would go the slower rate. So I don't know. It would depend on the situation. But to me, it seems like, okay, a number of years could happen, but it seems like you would want to do it faster. But I don't know. Maybe everyone's different and has different tracks. I would want to go faster, I guess.
Yeah, because for me, it's more like that since I don't put this barrier up that I need to be married to have sex.
Right.
I can have that relationship aspect.
Uh-huh.
Marriage isn't really a concern. And also, I just, I even before I was polyamorous, I dated people thinking that, and knowing that, we're together right now and that it's not going to last forever. I think it was only like my first real girlfriend where I thought like this is going to last the rest of my life for a few months anyways.
You mean you were thinking that it could have gone like...
Yeah, I thought it was going to go
life?
That way.
Okay.
And I wish I had been identifying as polyamorous back then, or even that I had realized it before she had to move away, because I feel like it would have at least made continuing a relationship with her easier, even if it wasn't a romantic one. You know what I mean? That I could tell her like, look, this is the way I feel and the way I need to express myself in order to be happy. And right, and instead of immediately breaking up with her, talking about it and maybe seeing if a long distance relationship might have worked out if she were okay with it and wanted to date other people herself and have me continue to date other people. Obviously I don't know that that's what would have happened. It also could have been that she's like, well, I understand and I can't really commit to someone like that, but we can still be friends, because I really did get along with them.
Was one of the main reasons for the breakup because you felt polyamorous and you didn't want to go into that with her, or you weren't sure yet what was in your mind?
Well, more distinctly at the time, the way I felt was that because she was in California for a few months visiting her sister.
Okay.
And I thought when she moved back to Kentucky that we would be able to continue a long distance relationship. And then as it got closer and closer, I kind of wanted to not... At the time, I still couldn't figure out. And I think it was an early sign of me thinking, well, maybe polyamory is the right thing for me. But it was more like, I don't know that I want to commit to this one relationship so immediately, especially a long distance one. So that's what was going on in my mind at the time, because polyamory wasn't even an option I considered, because it wasn't really up until a few years ago. Like I thought polyamory meant like, you're living off the grid on a commune with you know what I mean?
You mean like a Manson thing, like, or
well,
not
Manson,
quite like that, but like where people are sharing at the same place, or
I talk about this. If anyone wants to go back and listen to the show before I started putting intros and outros in, I did a review of the book Stranger in a Strange Land by Robert A. Heinlein, where I actually do talk about this and about how, for as much as I liked that book, it was also that presentation of polyamory that kind of turned me off of it. And it wasn't until I realized, like, no, I could have like a more normal mainstream kind of life and still be polyamorous.
Okay.
That I started identifying as polyamorous.
And and what would be an example? Like, so for example, you're saying like polyamorous in the like modern sense would be you can just date various people and you don't have big long-term relationships.
So I think I've told you I have a primary partner.
Yeah.
And so for me, at least right now, it's more like I like having, she and I might move in together one day, and that I might have a fixed relationship, and that we both continue relationships with other people. As well, that, could be friends as well and stuff like that, right? But that we're, just both romantically and sexually, we can be with other people, but that, at the end of the day, we're coming home to each other, which is something I had a hard time explaining to someone else who still doesn't get it.
Oh, I mean, I think I can understand it. I mean, it seems like that's been presented in some media, right? Sometimes in more modern media, it seems like I'm not thinking of a particular example per se, but oh, well, I don't know if this is the right example, but Friends with Benefits with Justin Timberlake and Mila Kunis.
Never saw it.
I don't know if that's not really a perfect example, but is it kind of like that where you're saying we're friends?
I'm like almost tempted to like give you a gutted version of my novel when I finish it, because part of the theme of it is actually polyamory and how people kind of come to terms with that in their own ways. Because for anyone who is reading it or listening to me read it, this is it touches on a lot of different things. You can check out full episodes of Kinky Caption Convos by clicking on the link in the description below, or by searching for Kinky Caption Convos through most major podcast distributing apps such as iTunes, Google, Audible, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more. Thank you for listening to this Kinky Caption Convo clip.